I know it's been a little bit of time since I've actually filmed a video, but I'm back. I'm better than ever. And in this video, we're just gonna jump right into it. I'm gonna be talking to you about money, how much I make, what I spend it on. Yeah, so let's get into it. So if we're just gonna jump right into things, you've already seen from the title how much I make. Drum roll. Yeah, no, so I make $125,000 a year as a software engineer in the Bay Area. I have been at my job for about a year and a half now. I started at $110,000 a year and then ended up at the 125 that I mentioned earlier before. And that happened through a promotion and through some payment adjustments and things like that. And hopefully I'll be getting another promotion, fingers crossed, at the end of this year. We'll see. But yeah, so that's how much I make right now as a software engineer. I currently work in DevOps, and I can put another video somewhere and talk more about that later. But I'm very grateful for the opportunity and the position. And I come from a working class family, so I've never seen this much money in my life. But I think I'm doing a really good job at handling it and about spending and saving and investing. And so I want to be able to give as much advice and clarity and information and transparency into how much I make and what I do with the money. And hopefully that can help you in some way when you are in the same position as me. And so let's get into it. Right off the bat, looking at my pay statement for the last 2 weeks, I gross, which means without taking out deductions, without taxes, I gross $4,813.65. And then my take home ends up being $3,237.37. From that take home of $3,200, I automatically put 20% of that into a savings account that I do not touch unless it's for emergencies. And so I end up getting actually around like $2,500 or something around that. So I automatically save about $1,200 a month. So why is there such a drastic difference in the gross income and what I end up taking home? Most of that is because of deductions. So I have 401k. My company puts 6% towards our investment accounts in our 401ks. And so that's a match, and that's basically free money. So as long as I'm putting 6% as well, then they will match that for me. So every paycheck, 6% of that goes into my 401k so that I can get match / free money from my employer, because why not? And then we have dental, medical, vision, all of that other stuff. Actually, my employer pays for some of that stuff. A bunch of money goes to medical insurance and things like that. And then for taxes, I'm not 100% sure what tax bracket I'm in, to be honest. This pay stub that I can see is about $800, and then Medicare is about $70, and then Social Security tax is $0, and then California income tax is $320. And so that's how I get down from almost $5,000 to a little over $3,200. And then again, as I said before, 20% of that $3,200 automatically goes into a savings account. So I'm really taking home about $2,500. And then with that $2,500, that is what I budget with. And now that I've kind of taken you through how much I make, the deductions that are taken from my paycheck through medical expenses and taxes and things like that, now I can actually show you what I spend my money on. And so I created a little chart, and we're gonna go through my transactions in my bank account and kind of look at what the biggest categories I spend money on. So this should be fun. So instead of the $2,500, I double that, because the $2,500 is for a 2-week pay period. We wanna look at the whole month. So that's around $5,000. And so I put that into my chart, and so that's the money that's coming in. That's how much I have to budget and spend with. And so now looking through my bank account and all of bills and utilities and things that I pay, I've kind of created this pie chart of where my money goes to on a regular basis. And this obviously can change depending on whether or not I'm traveling, if I need clothes for an event or something like that, which almost never happens. The biggest variable for me when it comes to money can be traveling, because most, if not all, of my family is on the East Coast. Traveling back and forth for the holidays takes a lot out of my paycheck. And so lately in November and December, I'm finding that I'm spending a bunch on plane tickets, and when I get home, I don't have the same access to meal prep that I usually do, so I'm eating out a little bit more, going out for drinks with friends a little bit more, which I don't mind, honestly. I love my friends, I love my family, I love spending time with them, so I don't mind putting a little bit of more money towards that. But for the most part, this pie chart is pretty much basically how I spend my money. The first line item of money going out of my account is rent. My rent is $1,500 a month. I live in the Bay Area, and usually prices are super high, and most people live with roommates, and so I live with 2 other people, but I have a whole basement area to myself. It's actually the master. So I have the master, and then I have a bathroom to myself, as well as a walk-in closet and a jacuzzi tub that I've used once, but it's so nice. So that's what $1,500 gets me here. And honestly, probably gonna look for something a little bit smaller next year when I move out, just so that I can save a little bit more money when it comes to rent. Before, I was living in a place where I was spending about $1,200, so I think I want to get back into that range, and I don't mind living with roommates. I'm still young, so I don't really need my space right now. So with groceries, I try my hardest to spend every Sunday. I meal prep all of my food, and I eat super low carb, so I have to really be strict with it, and that's why I meal prep, because it's kind of hard to find meals that fit within my lifestyle sometimes at work or wherever else, so I'd rather cook anyway. So for transportation, which is the next area that we see here, I own a car. It is finance, which means that I owe money on it, which was not what I wanted to do when I got the car, but my parents convinced me to do it, which I don't mind because it's a newer car, and so it's a little bit safer than what I would have gotten before for a cheaper value. And so every month I pay about $250 on the car, and then insurance is about $150 or $160. And then utilities for this place that I live in right now is about, the max that it gets is about $200. When I first got here, when I first moved in, they had hired cleaners that come every other week. So we have cleaners that come. This was not my decision. My room is usually pristine and clean anyway, but I didn't want to make a fuss about it. So we have cleaners that come every other week that clean the entire house, go into our rooms, wash the floors, make our beds, things like that. Something that I don't really need, but it was part of moving here, and I don't really mind it too much. It's nice to not have to clean up too much. So that is included in the utilities. And then we have electricity and water, garbage pickup, and that's all max of $200. The other $50 that I have here is my phone bill, which is about, it's about $50, $50 to $60 a month. And then dining, travel, entertainment. Usually, as I was saying earlier, travel is usually none unless it's around the holidays and I'm going back home to the East Coast, and so that's when my travel budget will be a lot more, and I'd be buying $400 or $500 plane tickets, which kind of sucks. But the nice thing is, with some of the credit cards I use, I get points that I can put towards my plane tickets, and a lot of the times I'll put my groceries or recurring expenses on my credit cards that I know I'm going to pay off at the end of the month, so that I can use those points towards plane tickets for the end of the year. And then for dining, entertainment, sometimes I'll go out with friends, have a few drinks. That honestly happens maybe once a month, if that. Usually my friends have house parties, so I'll go and I'll like get a can of White Claws or something, and that's like $10. So we don't really go out too often, which is nice. The next category are investments. So besides my 401k, besides my 401k and my savings, I also invest outside of all of that. So I use this platform called M1 Finance, where you're able to either pick partial stocks or individual stocks, or ETFs where they have packages of stocks that you can buy into. M1 Finance is really cool. It doesn't cost anything, I don't think, to buy and trade stocks on there. And it's really easy to use, super user intuitive. And I honestly just put my money into a target index fund and just leave it. And I do $400 every month. And I just started doing that a couple months ago, but I really want to maintain it. And as I continue to get promotions, I want to continue to put more money into that. And then obviously more into my savings, into my 401k. I also do a little bit of real estate investing. So within my first year of saving up a ton of money, I had enough to put a down payment on a place in Atlanta. So it's a small three bedroom, 1 bathroom place that I now rent out. And I think real estate is really the investment vehicle that I see myself going towards. And I'm hoping that I can do 1 to 2 properties a year. Aggressive savings and lowering my expenses and seeing if I could do any side hustles. I really think that I can make that work for me. And I love it so far. It's a lot of fun. Obviously, you have to make sure that the numbers are right for you and that real estate investment in general is the right path for you. But for me, I honestly love it and I'm obsessed with it, and I can't wait to get my next property. If you guys are interested in learning more about that, obviously leave me a comment down below and I can talk more about that in detail. And then the last thing on here is counseling/therapy. And so I had a really hard transition period coming out here to California. I think it was really hard for me as an introvert, honestly, to make friends, find similar people, build a community. And oftentimes I was burning myself out so much at work that I was getting frustrated and just so tired of working so hard all of the time and trying to prove myself constantly. And I didn't want to have to keep burdening friends or family and calling them all the time to talk about these things. So one day I kind of just sat down and was like, I should go talk to somebody. And it's not anything, you know, crazy. Like, therapy is just a really good way to get your feelings out there and get somebody who's unbiased and can just listen to what you have to say and give you really good feedback. And I think it's been a good way for me to learn more about myself and figure out who I am as a person and what my next moves are in my career and with family, with friends, things like that. And it's just been so great to sit down and have a set time where I can just rant about anything and everything and she doesn't judge me. Honestly, I treat it as my ranting session, a really expensive ranting session, but it's been a really good experience for me overall, and I really would recommend anyone who can afford it to do it. Yeah, and so that leaves me with a little bit over $1,700 to spend on whatever else at the end of the month. And sometimes that goes towards Amazon purchases, sometimes that goes towards new clothes or workout gear. But most of the time, I just throw that money back into my savings account and just let it sit there. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. This has been really fun. Please leave some comments down below of more videos you'd like to see. I promise I'm coming back with more videos every week, hopefully, if not at least every other week. I've just been really busy, and there will be another video about what I'm doing. Spoiler alert, I'm going to get my master's degree. What? So if you want to learn more about that, stay tuned for the next video. Like and subscribe if you like this and want to see more videos like this in the future, and I will see you next time. Thanks.